Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel the IIT Encoder. In the last video we saw what ML API is and how we are actually going to leverage that. So in this course we will be actually looking on how we would be implementing the ML API and how we will be starting with the network manager, which is the most important aspect of ML API. So let's look at the documentation for a second. So just give me, yeah, so just let's look at the documentation on how it suggests we get on with the ML API installation. So your first network came, so installation and migration. Install ML API we already did. So let's go to first steps with ML API. So here it gives us how we can make our first network game Hello World. So I don't think I need to explain to you how they made Hello World, but as we would be going in a similar pace, we would be looking at how we are creating our project. So it is quite similar to Hello World, just it would be more detailed, it would be more depth, and it would cover a hell lot of features. So they made a 3D project, we will make a 2D project, and they renamed the project as Hello World, or it will be MongoDB, not MongoDB. Sorry, I'm still at the previous course. It will be Unity ML API course. So let's get started. So it will say creating network manager and select the transport. Okay, fine. So what we will do is we will create an empty project, not an empty project. We will create an empty, what do you call it? Create an empty object and let's name it network manager. You can name it anything, but this seems to be the most plausible name. Go to add component, add network manager to this. This script will be there when you imported ML API. So if you can't see this network manager here, go back and check the steps of how to import ML API. So network manager. So this is a very long script and it basically is the whole networking solution in this script. There are other utility scripts, but this is the main script which will almost use everything. So it asks us to select a transport. So select the unit transport. Okay. And now our name is sample scene. So okay, that's fine. The rest of the things I will say don't change them. Let them as it is for now. So let me explain you what actually this network manager is and how does it function. So in the documentation, if we look, it just says that create a network manager and select the transport and then just blah blah blah. It lists out all these steps. It doesn't say what network manager is, what it does, what are the options you can customize there. So let me tell you what they are. So this will be, so first, don't destroy and run in background. So let's save our scene and let's play. Let it play. Yeah, so as you can see, now it is in don't destroy and load. So basically, now your network manager won't be destroyed even when you change the scene or load something else. So that way, your network variables and everything will remain intact throughout the game, even after when you change levels, you go back to the lobby or anything. So that's why you need it is strict by default, don't destroy, and run in background is because you don't want it to mess with the foreground activities. Next is the log level. So log level is basically the debug.log kind of thing. So you don't want to actually get in depth on the networking logs that Unity does for you. So better not change that. Network prefabs is an important thing. Anything that you spawn over the network has to be declared here in network prefabs. So suppose you are using a player or you later customize it to for a shooting game and the gun or the bullets each are network object. So what is a network object? Any object that will be not predefined in the scene, which will actually move, and it will have to be synced over both the client and the server are the network objects. And any network object has to be a prefab, and it has to be declared in the network prefab. So that is all about this. You can just add here, drag and drop here. And what is the default player prefab? So we will get to that in the next video when we actually spawn our player. But the default player prefab is actually a default prefab which ML API will automatically spawn for you the moment you join a game. When if you are a client, it will automatically spawn for you. So next is the registered scene names. So every scene which has a network component or which you want to switch to when your network manager runs in the background has to be declared here. So if I remove sample scene from here, it will give an error. This cannot be used during playtime. And if I remove it from here, then it won't allow me to remove it because network manager is declared in the sample scene itself. So any scene which uses network manager or uses network components has to be declared here. The next thing is protocol version and enable retime sync. These are not for our use. Then the performance, yeah, these are the things that we will play with in the end to customize our jitter and lag. So receive tick rate is basically the rate at which we actually receive the message queue from the pending incoming messages. You can actually read it here. And the default value is 64, but this can be set to 32 or 128, as I will show you in the end of the course. That is a long way to go when we are actually customizing our lag and jitter, because these are the properties that will be affected by this performance. Network tick interval second is basically in how much duration will it again sync everything in the network and send the requests and get the requests. So as you can see, I will hover over it for you. Yeah, duration in seconds between network ticks. And a network tick is basically when it sends or receives information. Then max receive is basically how many events it has to keep in its queue, and the rest it has to purge out. And event tick rate is again the amount of time per second the internal event run or loop will run. We'll go into detail later, so for now just bear with me. And then spawning, basically create player prefab, is what I told you. Whenever a client connects to the a game, a player prefab will spawn, which is the default player prefab that you have taken. For same prefabs is the same thing. Use prefab sync. That means every object that you declare should be a prefab. Don't go into details of all these. I'm just explaining you to just know that what your script is. Scene management is allows you to change scenes. And then this is the unit transport. Okay, so ignore all these max connections, everything. There is one thing which is most important here is the connect address. 127.0.0.1. What is this? This is our localhost address. Let's Google it out. If you don't believe me, localhost IP address. So it is 127.0.0.1 for any laptop or any device for that course. So when we set connect address as localhost here, we can only run this game on localhost, that is on this PC, as two device and not on two different devices. We will later change this to our IP address so that other devices from different laptops and different computers can connect to us. So this is what it is. Now let's do a small thing just to play around with. Play and start host. That's all. Our host is started and running. So now Unity is actually hosting our server, and there is also a client here. Because there were no actual scripts or anything attached to that, you cannot actually have anything. But Actually it worked. The hosting process started. So thank you very much for watching this video. We will look into the and create a player prefab and spawn it later. So stay tuned for the next video. Hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned. Do leave your doubts in the comment section.